So I did run for Congress. Politics is a freaking black hole, so I won't talk to you about that.
Oh, you suck.
Ryan and I can talk politics all day long. But started off in 2020. I bought a 6-unit. I sold that in 21. I bought an 8-unit a couple months after that. Sold that in 2022. And then towards the end of 2022, I bought 32 units. In 2023, I bought 159 units and also acquired more gray hairs with that. And then I'm currently buying 60 units. I total have 170. So I was up to 159 in 2023. So I bought, do the math, 127 units. That's been the journey. So this property that I'm showing is 396, 398 Cedar Street in Manchester. It's 5 units, a 2 and a 3, 1 tax parcel. And I bought this June 1. We bought this for $615. It was listed on market. Nhreia was the broker for the seller, who's my mentor in real estate. I've known him from before I got into real estate, and I've just tried to replicate what he's done to an extent and kind of put my own twist on it. And I've always just tried to make things as simple as possible, find people smarter than me, learn from them. $615, the rents were $53,100 per year. This unit was a hoarder. This is after some of the cleanup had started. This is what we got into. And then this was the initial underwriting. So the goal was to take the rents from $53,000, it's kind of hard to see, I know, hopefully you have good eyesight, from $53,000 to $102,000 in 24 months or less, deliver a cash out refinance or sale. So originally it was $620, we ended up at $615 because we had a credit in there. 25 grand of rehab. We projected that some of the tenants would stay, which is what happened, and that's kind of typically the case because the rental market is so tight in New Hampshire. And obviously big numbers like IRR of 67%, big projections. We went hard money. You can see the interest rate at 12%, so we were more levered on this, and we were trying to raise the value a little over $200,000. Which is significant for only putting in 125. So that was the plan. After. So this is the vacant hoarders unit about a week or so before everything was finished. So we actually listed it with some of these pictures and kind of just, we were in go, go, go mode. But we ended up spending 35 grand throughout the whole property on CapEx. So we didn't go crazy. Thankfully, there wasn't any major stuff like hot water heaters, utilities were separated out. We didn't need to do the roof. So there wasn't a ton of structural deferred maintenance. And basically this house, one of the 5 units, had been occupied for like 50 years by one family. So probably 75% of their repair budget over 50 years went into one unit. So that unit was set, and there was another unit that we did a light touch-up on, and then we had kind of 3 full turns. New stainless steel appliances, sometimes like a new oven from Home Depot, $800 type of stuff, not going crazy. And what we ended up with overall, and I'll get into the impact and then in terms of the final numbers. So, eliminated some of that key deferred maintenance, make the units livable, better utilization of space. For example, we had a 3-bedroom unit, $665, single guy. So the guy didn't care, he would take a 3-bedroom because it was $665 for rent. We paid him to move out, we do cash for keys all the time, minimize evictions. We got somebody in there, $2,000 a month, Section 8 tenant, his portion is $89, great guy, he's never going to go anywhere, physically disabled, and 1911 is the direct deposit portion from the government, from $665 before. So that one specific unit, obviously, home run. In total, we were able to rent to 5 people that were previously homeless, including 2 children, again, mostly through utilizing Section 8. Especially as I've scaled, the more that I know this is exactly what it's going to be, right? So having 40 or 50% Section 8 where we know this amount's coming in, where our expenses are X, that reduces risk. It just makes it easier to execute at scale. Especially where the Section 8 rents are high in New Hampshire because the vacancy rate is so low and rents are high. So it makes sense for what I'm doing where I'm spending efficiently. We're not going all out and we're providing good quality housing. And we can do that with the Section 8 program and make good money. And then we also just rent to similar, maybe slightly better off economically clientele of just working class people. So the buildings are mixed. We ended up with $106,800 of rent per year scheduled rent in 9 months. And so in 9 months, we ended up executing on a cash out refinance. The building overappraised at $950, which blew me away. And I've been on a streak with stuff overappraising. Before that, I don't know, some people I used to just vent for hours about appraisers. But these are the final numbers. So these are basically actuals in a sense of what our expenses should be. We're estimating more repair and maintenance. 5% is acceptable for just appraisers, standard industry, what they'll use for property management. Typically, you're going to be a little bit more. We projected 5% for vacancy and credit loss. Like this actually appraised at 3% vacancy and credit loss, which is what most appraisers are using. So there's assumptions that we knew were slightly conservative in terms of what most appraisal reports are actually having in them today. And we valued it, or I valued it, at $934, and we got a value of $950. We executed on a cash out refinance. We ended up being at $141,000 that we pulled out in total. Closing costs went higher. Total return. So remember, I said we're going to get the value at $852 in 24 months. The total return on equity for the property was 233%, 15 months ahead of schedule. And that's using my valuation, not the appraiser. It would be higher than the appraiser. And that's it. Obviously, this one went well. Not everyone's going to go like this, and just trying to do more like this. That's my contact information. If anybody wants to connect.
All right, first question. Can I get the first autograph?
If you write me a check, which is also the answer to the dance question.
Okay, all right. Okay, great. We've got time for a few questions. We'll just run around the room.
Tim, how strict are the inspections with Section 8? Do they come out once a year?
They're once a year. They're not bad. We've had 1 or 2 fail for little things, and we just fix it. I really think they're just trying to catch like a slumlord, honestly.
And what about qualifying the tenants? Do they just throw somebody in there, or are you allowed to kind of pick and go through their profiles a little bit to find out, okay, this Section 8 person doesn't work, or this Section 8 person does work?
Yeah, it's a good question. So Section 8, it actually can be considered steering. They won't give you people, which I kind of find crazy because there's a massive waiting list. There's all these people that economically qualify for Section 8, but they can't get it because they can't even rent to the people that are currently on the waiting list. But they have to come to you. So we'll post Facebook ads, Zillow, that's most of our tenants, and we just put on there that we accept Section 8. I don't know, probably 70% of the people that reach out to us are not Section 8 tenants, 30% are. If they like it and we like them, they go to their caseworker. Usually takes a week tops to get them in there.
So if they go to their caseworker and then the caseworker reaches out to you, is that how it works?
Yeah, and so it's a lot of the similar people. Like New Hampshire housing is probably like half the Section 8 roughly they administer, and they email you or they call you, and then you get an inspection, and then there's some paperwork. It's basically lead paint disclosure form, lease, HAP contract. That's the brunt of it.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, man. Good luck, man.
All right, anyone else who can ask some questions?
I've got two. So the basement on the building, was it in decent shape, or this is like a 100-year-old building, yes?
Yeah, I would just say classic New England basement. Honestly.
So you didn't have any rot to deal with in the beams or the ceiling?
No, we didn't do anything in the basement. There wasn't any major concern there. We've had that in some buildings, but it's all like, what I would say is you can get an inspection report, right? And it will give you a list of things, especially if it's a 100-year-old building. And then there's like, what would make the property worth more money? What would make the user experience worth more? And what do you need to deal with? And then also, what's another way to maybe deal with an issue that's different than spending $50,000? And those are trade-offs we try to make all day long.
Yeah. And then with your expenses now, are they like 40% of the collected rents, or as a percentage?
Yeah, it's up there. I want to say it's like 30,000 or something. It was on the sheet. Utilities are separated out, so there isn't a ton that we pay for. It's just, property management, maintenance. That's the brunt of it. Obviously, insurance, taxes.
All right, fantastic. Another question over here.
Hey Tim, I actually know that house. My friend grew up there. I actually looked at it before. Nick Ray ended up selling it. That has like siding. The siding has like shingles. Are you gonna do anything with the siding? And I thought the roof was pretty bad on that one too. Was the roof just left alone?
So the siding is ugly. It's asphalt shingles, and I think the property generally was kind of ugly, and that kept a lot of people away. And I just am very laser focused. How's this going to impact numbers and tenants? And the housing crisis, it's so severe that if you have a renovated unit, that's not going to keep you from getting, someone in a 3-bedroom at Section 8 rent for $2,000. So we're just not going to touch the asphalt shingles. The roof will have to replace at some point in time. There's no active issues right now, but it's an older building.
All right, any other questions for Tim? Okay, seeing none, fantastic.